Um, a foreign feeling for sure. But I think I'm excited to see him. We've exchanged some text, and this is one that you have some games that you remember the dates, and so this has been one that I'm excited for. It's the next one for us, so it's a big one, and it's the one we're preparing for. But I'll be excited to see number 10 for sure.
What's one lesson that you took from just watching him when you came in the league and joined this team?
I think the attention to detail and the preparation of one, from the board work to how he took notes to watching the tape, but then to the weight room to the field work. You saw it in everything he did.
There's that clip of you guys at the warehouse on his last day before he went up to Seattle. Like, what were kind of like the emotions of that day, kind of saying, see you later?
Yeah, I guess I viewed it as a see you later. And I guess that was the kind of the best way I could describe it. Of like, I know this is not be the last time I see you. I've seen something on social media. He's like, I'm not dead, and I've never thought of it like that. He's just not in California, so he's always been a phone call and a text away. And so I'm grateful for the relationship that we have. But it'll be fun to see him over there.
When you guys were together, you treated him like an older brother. How would you describe that relationship, and what was the most important thing about that relationship when he was here?
I guess that the level of comfort from the first moment he came in. When I first joined the team, he had just had his third son, so there was some time he wasn't there, and it was just Cooper Kupp from the Zoom call. So I was like, man, this guy's got to be 6'5", 275 pounds, and he came in and he had the big beard, and so it was like, oh man, this guy, yeah, he is a big human being. But yeah, just the level of comfort that I was able to feel with him, and just the build of communication that started from day one to the day to where we are now. So,
what's the challenge of preparing for a defense that's as successful in zone and man as this one is?
I think it's going to put our fundamentals to the test. I think some of the things that we pride ourselves in the run game and in the pass game, to the detail that we have in some of these play calls and pre-snap and post-snap will be put to the test this week.
The home crowd is behind you and rocking during your tenure. How have you felt that energy and impact on the field?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The home crowd, like when it's behind you and rocking, how have you felt that impact on the field?
I think it's fun. I've played at some good stadiums in the time I've been in the NFL, but then also I think of some of my times at BYU too, and as well as Washington. The third down, I think of the impact it has for our defense and the team in general, where we enjoy our fans cheering for us on offense, but after we score touchdowns, we like the quiet. We can hear the communication that is needed for offense, but on defense, that excitement and the energy that they play with definitely has an influence from the crowd.
Cooper isn't the only former Ram on that team. They have several guys on defense. What's that like? What are the exchanges like, if any, on the field when you're running into Ernest or Darian Kendrick or those kinds of guys?
Yeah, I'm sure for the guys on defense, there will definitely be a little bit different conversations than me and Coop will have. But the sportsmanship and the competitive edge, I think, will definitely be on showcase. I know, especially that guy, number 13, the intensity that he plays with and that we've seen. So I know the leader that he is for that team, and the excitement and the challenge it will be for us to continue to execute and put him in the most difficult position to succeed.
When you have 2 7-2 teams playing this week for pole position in the conference, kind of what's the juice behind this game?
I think there's like I mentioned before, there are some dates that you remember when you look at the schedule and kind of give it a brief glance, but then just the excitement of we feel like we've been playing good football, and I feel like I've said this before, we feel like we're on a heater right now, so you never want to mess up the flow, mess up the energy, kind of keep that routine. The same breakfast, you try to keep as many things as the same, so it feels normal when you get out there, but it'll be exciting, and the moment to not be too big for us and to be completely present, as some coach always says, and be ready for the challenge that will be presented on Sunday. I'm a plain bagel with 2 over medium eggs. I like the yolk. I take off the top bagel and I eat the eggs on top of the bottom bagel, and if I feel like I need extra carbs, I'll eat that extra one. I get 2 eggs on the side over medium, just in case.
Post-game jersey swap planned with Coop, or what will that look like?
Honestly, I'm hoping that he doesn't take it off, because if I see him take it off to somebody else, I might hit somebody on our team, respectfully. So it better be like, oh man, everybody gives Coop a hug and he like walks off with his jersey, and I tell Berg, I'm like, yo, I'm sending mine right now and I better get one in exchange.
What about you guys are wearing the alternate uniforms? Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about that as players? I mean, excited, or does it matter, or what?
I'm a fan. I think I'm like, in Madden, when I played the NCAA stuff, you like to switch up the uniforms and try to put up the best combination. I think that our guys always do a great job of making us look great, and it'll be nice to switch it up. I'm like, I got some different gloves, some different cleats, so it'll be nice to switch up the swag a little bit.
Thanks, Puka.
Thank you.
Thanks, Puka.
Nope.
What stands out to you about the way this offensive line for Seattle has been playing this year?
Yeah, I mean, they play strong, they play relentless, they really get after the ball. Even if you're on the backside of a play, they're going to try to cut you off to make sure they know, like, a lot of players they go up against, been up against some good edges. They're high effort players. So, on the backside, they're going to make sure you're not able to make them plays.
Seems to be playing better under pressure this season than a year ago. Like, what are you seeing from him that's allowing him to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting after. He's able to make them plays after, getting pressure, people getting in his face. He's able to get out the pocket. He's a fast runner. He can, make plays with his feet too. But, his arm's something that really stands out. He's a complete quarterback.
15-2 last year with the Vikings. You had success in the playoffs against him. What are you seeing different? Are you seeing anything different from him this year?
Yeah, his reads are a lot differently. The way he reads the field is a lot different. Before, with a little bit of pressure, he was kind of like not make the read that he thought was best at the time because he kind of got panicked. Now he's kind of staying real calm under pressure, especially in the pocket.
Jordan, this defense has been very disruptive. How do you sort of keep that going?
We just keep being us, one day at a time. We're not focused about the game too much today. We're focused about what we had to do today. We just finished up our practices. Now we're focused about tomorrow.
It's 2 7-2 teams fighting for division lead, conference lead. Like, kind of what's the juice behind this game for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, beef just because, you in our conference. I think it's the game of the week, but it's just the game of the week because we're in it. That's all that matters.
The home crowd has been, behind you and rocking during your tenure. How have you felt that impact on the field?
Oh, no, you feel it. I mean, especially when it gets those third and long situations, they got to pass it. They know they have to pass it. The fans know they have to pass it. You can feel the stadium rocking. You can feel everybody on their feet. That gives you motivation to really get after it.
What have you seen from Charles Cross, just, from film study of him?
Yeah, I think he's a lot better than he was last year. I think his feet move a lot better. I think he's able to take power a lot more. I think he's able to reset his hands. I think, everybody has their weaknesses, and, that's something that we're going to try to get after, but I think he's become a lot better of a player.
For you and the other guys who played or practiced against Cooper for at least some part of your career, what do you think it's going to be like going against him live in a game for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, Kupp, I didn't get to form the full relationship that, Puka, especially Stafford, got to form with him. But, it's gonna be, it's a game. I mean, he's not dead or anything like that, like he said, but, it's gonna be a good game, especially, Puka, or Coop, he's a great player. Like, he's gonna make his plays and everything like that. It's just gonna be weird, like, ball up in the air, hoping he don't catch it.
Anything else?
Perfect.
Thanks, Jerry.
This is a defense that likes to stunt a lot, like one of the highest rates in the NFL. What are the kind of the conversations and collaboration with Coleman and Matthew about trying to figure out those pre-snap reads along the line?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like you just said, a lot of communication, a lot of film study. It's one thing to know they do it. It's one thing to watch it. It's another thing to actually have to block it. Not only do they do it at a high clip in terms of, their efficiency with it. On top of having some really good players up there. So it's a challenge every week. It's just a bigger challenge this week because this is one of the best defensive fronts and defenses in ball.
Sean was talking about Terrance Ferguson and the growth he saw from him on the team. What did you see at the beginning of the season when he wasn't getting those game reps on offense necessarily, and how he's grown?
Yeah, just saw a guy that, like you just said, was continuing to work, behind the scenes in practice, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, getting the work in, even with Matthew and Jimmy and stuff like that and the routes on air. He took every rep and continues to take every rep very serious to work on his craft. So no surprise he's out there. The game's not too big for him. You knew that right away, right when he got here. You could see it. He played some big-time ball in college football, and, he's just continued to get more and more comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better you're going to be.
What do you remember seeing on the film when you guys looked at him before the draft?
Well, I mean, like I said, he played in some big games. You're at Oregon. You're going to play in national television. It just he has such a calm demeanor about himself, not to be confused with not going after it. So you could just see just such a fluid, in my opinion, athlete. And a guy that just, in all phases, whether he's running his routes, in protection, run game, all that, when he had the ball in his hands, just a really good player.
In your time with Matthew, you've always spoken very highly of his cerebral approach. We see incredible numbers this year in what he's doing. What are you seeing that we don't see that is even higher this year?
Nothing. I mean, I think it's just one of those years right now. This guy for 17 years has played at such a high clip, even if he always hasn't gotten the recognition, particularly nationally. I know within, our business, within each, of the buildings around this league, everyone's had tremendous amount of respect, and no one liked playing against him. I know all the, the handful of times that we had to go against him, or, when I was with Sala and he had to go against him, it was not a fun week. Preparing for this guy. Luckily, I get to be on his side now, and you get to see why. So it's not shocking. Yeah, it's statistically, I get it. His numbers are up, and so I get it. People are going to talk about it. He's always played this way. He's always played tough. He's always been in command. He's always, risen to the challenge, and I think the surrounding guys, the other 10, have played at a high clip with him. So that's why I think you're seeing what you're seeing so far. And again, we got a long way to go, though.
First got here 3 years ago, was there a moment where you understood what Cooper Kupp meant to this locker room?
Yeah, I mean, you knew from afar. I was in this division for 4 years, being away from the division for 2 years, particularly the 21 year when he went for the Triple Crown. So, and then even coming out of Eastern Washington in 2017, that was my first year as a receiver coach in San Francisco. So had the opportunity to, really dive in and study him and get to know him at the combine and stuff like that. Again, being in the building, that wasn't shocking at all. The command he had of that receiver room, the ownership of his role and what he did, both from a production standpoint, but again, just the operation and how he went about his business, you could tell the other guys followed suit with it. So no shock at what kind of player he is, what kind of person he is, what a tremendous dude he is, So it'll be good to see him on Sunday. Obviously, it'll be a little bit different, but again, I've had quite a few opportunities to have to go against him before, so it's just another one.
As the tight ends have earned more opportunities and as 13 personnel has become more prevalent, what do you notice about just each of those guys' play demeanor, play style, and also maybe their personalities?
Yeah, I mean they love ball. They love being out there. It's a really cohesive unit. It's a cohesive position group. And like I've kind of said for the last few weeks, very selfless group. They don't really care how we cross that goal line. They just want to cross the goal line, and that's all of them. Every position group, So it's been a neat deal. We'll see where it goes this week. We'll see where it goes the next week. Each week is its own deal. All we're trying to do is put these guys in position to go out there and have that success. And what we've asked them to do, particularly over this last month, they have. But again, each week's a new challenge, and this one's really going to be.
How much experience in your previous stops had you had in terms of coaching a lot of 13 personnel, a lot of tight ends?
Yeah. More so in San Francisco. Dove into a little in New York, but not to the level that you're asking right there. But I guess you could say in San Francisco, more so 22 personnel, though, because, we didn't bring Juice off the field that often, But in terms of just having two tight ends, a back, and really, hey, just one receiver, right? I would say it kind of dated back to that. But, yeah, it's a fun little deal for those guys.
For you and for Sean, how fun is it for you guys to be able to game plan with that element now?
Yeah, I mean, it's, diving back into some stuff like you just said. I mean, he's had history of it before, particularly before he got here, obviously. But, you're diving back into some things that you haven't studied for a few years, I know, particularly for me. But it's been fun. It's been great conversations. There's, some, obviously, some obstacles and hurdles you have to go through to make sure that it's a nice, tight plan and the guys have crystal clear expectations of what they're, supposed to get done. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun.
Stands out on the Seattle defense too.
Yeah, I mean, how long do we got? Right. Extremely well coached, really high-end caliber players at all three levels of the defense. You can tell they have great leadership. They have great ownership. I always say, not that they do a ton, but they got a pretty good menu going against Mike for a number of years now. You name the coverage, he has it. You name the pressure, he has it. But it just seems their players have such command of what's being asked of them. And again, I always attribute that to great coaching, and then obviously having the right players in those spots. So again, there's not a weakness on this defense. There's a reason that they've statistically had the year that they've had. There's a reason that their record is what it is. They play extremely hard, both on the road and at home. What a great challenge it's going to be.
When you have 2 7-2 teams, people would love, coaches around the league would love to be in your situation. What do you like most about a 7-2 week against a 7-2 week?
That we have an opportunity to go 1-0. I mean, it's November, whatever it is right now. There's a long, ways to go in this thing. We're halfway through it. I don't know if our guys are thinking of 7-2. I haven't heard Sean say 7-2 once. We got an opportunity this week against a really good football team coming into our place, and you just try to stay in the moment where your feet are, work to go 1-0. I know they're saying the exact same thing because there's too much, in front of us to worry about any of that. So we'll worry about this one because it's going to be hard enough.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
How are you?
Great.
How's this Seahawks? You've obviously schemed against the Seahawks for years, but how, if at all, is this different with Darnold?
Well, it's just a whole different system. Last year, obviously, they were real spread out and dropping back all the time, throwing it. Now, obviously, with Clint there and Sam, and it's just a completely different feel. It's obviously they're really good at running the ball. They're physical, they're sound, they execute. They got playmakers everywhere. They got a really good line and quarterback who's playing really, really well at a really high level. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us.
And how is it different in terms of prep? McCaffrey, Taylor, Saquon, you got these kind of marquee guys where it seems like they do it a little bit more by committee.
Yeah, for sure. And they got, obviously, with Kenneth Walker, he's a home run waiting to happen. So you got to account for that all the time. And then Charbonnet is more of a downhill physical running style. And both are great backs and both have kind of different skill sets. So it's tough because, it's not like, they're kind of 50-50. You got to know which one's in the game, and you got to play your techniques and play your calls accordingly.
In the 2 games against Darold last year, the game plan looked like it was put pressure on him. He seems to be throwing the ball a lot better under pressure this year. What is he doing that's allowing him to be successful in that area?
I mean, I think it's their offense as a whole is executing. When he's making play, receivers are making great catches, contested catches. Not just JSN. I think all the receivers are playing really well, and they're playing really well around him. They're running the ball. They're running, they're booting, their play actions, they're on schedule. So I think a part of the last year was, you get a lead, stuff like that, and I don't think that's the, that's the game that they want to play all the time. So it's just, keep them on schedule, keeping them upright, and they're doing a really good job.
What's the risk reward in how you approach defending a receiver as productive as Jackson's been so far this year?
Go ahead, say that again.
How do you balance, maybe bracket coverage or throwing an additional guy on one receiver versus just trusting that your scheme can handle a receiver that's playing so well, like Smith and Jigba?
Oh, it's a huge challenge because they got a lot of guys that can hurt you, and obviously he's getting a ton of targets and at so much production. Obviously he's on pace to break the NFL record in receiving yards, so he requires and deserves all that attention that he should get. And but they have other guys that can hurt you, so it's about you don't want to put all your resources into stopping one guy and now another guy goes off for 200 yards. So it's just that fine line, that balance. We know he's their marquee player. We know he's going to have a ton of touches and a ton of targets, and it's about how many resources do you want to allocate him without letting other guys go off.
Makes the punch out look easy, but it sounds like it's not. What are the challenges of timing that right and that play in general?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to ask him. If I knew exactly how he could do it, everything, I think we'd have our whole defense doing it as efficiently as him. But I think we just try to emphasize it.
And I think it's just, he would tell you it's, it's practice performance equals game reality. He's constantly going after them, whether it's OTAs, whether it's training camp, any type of practice that he, the ball's out there, he's looking for those punch ups. And that's what we try to get our guys to do, as soon as they step on the field, where you teach them how to do it, you teach them the techniques, and then it's on them, if they're comfortable with it, to apply it without sacrificing the risk of missing the tackle.
And then live reps, how did you see him practicing it during training camp or during OTAs?
We do drills with it, and obviously, you do a lot of drills, but it's hard to do. It's one thing to kind of do a drill and that ball is kind of sitting there in a static position. You're working the technique, and another thing to put it into true live action.
Cooper spent his entire career here. You were here the whole time. What's it like now, scheming against an offense with him in it?
It's tough. I mean, it feels like training camp or OTAs when he used to be killing us and, all the same routes. But he's obviously still a great player, and they're using him really well. They're moving him around, and he's been a great addition for him. So, it's tough to go against him. Yeah, of course. But that's part of the NFL. We got guys, I have a bunch of players that I love that are playing on defense for him, whether it's Ernest or, DK, Pupal's there. So, that's just part of the NFL. It's part of the business where, guys are going to move on and play on other teams. Coaches are going to move on that you've coached with, and you're going to be coaching against them. So it is weird and it's tough, but it's also part of the game.
Sean said that, the defense kind of inspired him to mix personnels more. Have you, been inspired by anything from the offense, whether it's, making different things look the same at pre-snap or anything like that?
Definitely. I think it's just some of the stuff, the way they operate, the way they execute, how they're always trying to put guys in conflict, how they're always trying to, have the pen in their hands. I think you try to do that as a defense and kind of flip that lens and say, all right, whether what it could give them issues or what could put the pen in our hands. So, those guys do such an unbelievable job with the preparation, the execution, the attention to detail that they have. I'm honestly amazed with those guys when I just watch, when our side's on the sideline and they're going against the look team defense. It's pretty fun to watch.
What is the underlying philosophy, though, to that part that inspired Sean, that he said the way you use so many different people in the defense, try to get everyone involved? What is the underlying philosophy for you as a coordinator, trying to, instead of concentrating on a few guys, trying to spread that out and keep everyone involved? Yeah, we've always tried to have a flexible system that can, one, match the type of offense that we're playing, and two, get our best 11 on the field. And, sometimes, we're not always right, but we have intentions to, mold our defense to the offense that we're playing and to get our best 11 on the field and put those best 11, not only just get them on the field, put them in the positions that they do best. And, we're constantly looking at it, constantly trying things out, constantly doing stuff. And we make a lot of mistakes along the way, but, that's part of it.
6 years ago when Sam Darnold was with the Jets, the infamous "I'm seeing ghosts," he was overwhelmed, became a viral moment. How do you describe the change in him, A, as a quarterback, and B, is that a cliche that is said in meeting rooms? Let's make that quarterback see ghosts.
I can't say we've specifically said anything like that. You always want to make quarterbacks uncomfortable. I think that's always just been, from day one, you're always kind of talking about that. Now, on that Jets team, he came in here and beat us at SoFi. And he played really well. And when we played him, we thought he was a legit quarterback and knew he was, and just needed him to be a good system with good guys around him. So we know the type of player he is, and we know how he feels when he's comfortable and feeling good and distributing the ball, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Seen an elevation from when he was with Kevin last year at the Vikings to what he is now?
Yeah, I think he's just taking the next step in his career. He went 15-2 last year in the regular season and played awesome, played at an elite level, and he's just continuing to do that this year. You just see him taking the next step. You can tell he trusts his coaches. He's in a great system, and he's got a really good line and great skill around him that he can trust and go play free and play fast.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it, guys.